Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every single Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning. Thank you for your patience here this morning as we got set and ready to go here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', bringing you our trio of signature segments here every single Friday. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. And the Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by Canine Kamp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. My choice for short and long-term care for all of the dogs here in our central and upstate New York community, and for those traveling in as well. And of course, a big time shout out to the LeMoyne Dolphins. As you know, we have our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with LeMoyne College. We are in year 4 of that partnership, and today we extend, because every week we do our Dolphin Time Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Today we're extending our coverage of LeMoyne under promise, over deliver, as we've done over the years, as I will be honoring the 2024 Hall of Fame inductees into the Gold Wave, which is what the Hall of Fame is called at LeMoyne College. And I'll have the opportunity to share with you my one-on-one conversation with inductee Tom Bonus, the longtime men's soccer coach at LeMoyne College, as well as Erica Geremia, who was a student athlete in women's lacrosse at LeMoyne and is now currently coaching women's lacrosse. So big time shout out to Erica. And I am going to welcome live on the broadcast today to round out the show around 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Dick Rockwell, longtime LeMoyne Head Baseball Coach, will be joining me on the show to honor the other inductees, which is the 1981 baseball team for the Dolphins. So everyone that has had a part to, everyone that's been inducted this year that's now going to be a piece of this history of LeMoyne inside of the Gold Wave is going to be on the show today, and they're going to be honored as the top dogs of the week. Tom Bonus, Erica Geremia, and Dick Rockwell joining me to speak on the 1981 baseball team that he coached, and to give honor to the entire team as the team itself was inducted into the Gold Wave. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I appreciate you hanging out with us every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is time for the Annoying Moment of the Week. So without further ado, let's rock with it.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The Annoying Moment of the Week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. And always appreciate Carvel DeWitt, longest standing Carvel franchise in America. And I have my own Sunday there, the DT Dolphin, which is in connection to the LeMoyne College Dolphins. So thank you to Jay Cartini and the crew, and always happy to have the opportunity to bring you the Annoying Moment of the Week. I mean, to me, this Annoying Moment of the Week this week, I could very easily go back to something that we talked about yesterday, but I don't like to, rehash something twice. It is an Annoying Moment of the Week that there are no parameters, or even the parameters that they claim are around the world of name, image, and likeness, aka the NIL, as well as stating that there's parameters around the transfer portal. I mean, there may be some, but it's not great. And obviously it's not working. So I know we've talked about it on the broadcast. I talked about it yesterday morning. We spoke about it in Tortora and Elford with Isaac Elford in our pregame to Holy Cross at Syracuse. We started the show talking about what's going on in the world of NIL and the transfer portal and just what's wrong with collegiate athletics, and the fact that I saw this coming, and the fact that I don't understand why why things aren't being done about it, which is really frustrating. So, you know, when you let something go like this, and even if you do something about it, at this point, I feel like people are taking advantage of the fact that there's no parameters, or there's very limited parameters, and even if there are parameters, is anything being implemented? Like, if you break a rule, are they really trying to stop you from doing certain things? So it's frustrating and it's upsetting. So it can easily be my annoying moment of the week, but because, like I said, we've addressed this a couple times here on the show, I don't want to put it in a place where I'm going to make it continue to go here as a conversation. I mean, it's an ongoing conversation that we've had since 2020. It's something that we're going to discuss, or we're going to talk about, and it's something that means a lot to me to try and get this thing right and try and figure this out and right the ship and whatnot. But ultimately, with it being my annoying moment of the week, which I think is really clear that it is, I do want to take the time to move forward into other annoying moments of the week, since we already talked about it. So my other annoying moment of the week, I would have to say, is, safety. Safety in America today. It bothers me that people, especially living in big cities, and there's things that I've seen with New York City recently, and there's things that I've seen with, like, Philadelphia, and I was just down in Philadelphia. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned with people getting to and from work. I'm concerned with people getting to and from school. I'm concerned with law enforcement. This mentality by some that law enforcement officials are bad people because there's some eggs that are not the greatest, and then turning around and saying it's everybody, which obviously it's not. So, we're in a place right now as a country where I feel like we're starting to look like things that we thought were detestable from overseas, things that we couldn't stand seeing, right? You saw the Middle East and how unsafe things were, and how, people were like, can I go to work and know that I'm going to be safe? I remember growing up as a kid thinking to myself, like, how do people do it in Jerusalem and in Israel and whatnot? Like, how do people wake up in the morning knowing that, like, hey, I could go get a cup of coffee today and then get blown up? And that would just sit with me, like, how do people live a life like that? And I remember thinking about it in high school when one of the guys that I went to high school with, he's Jewish, and he wanted to, go back to the Holy Land. And he did go back to the Holy Land. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm concerned about him going back there and being in a position where at any given time somebody could do something to him. And Alan said, no fear. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to Jermaine as well. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning to everybody out there that's watching and listening. Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you for your patience here this morning. Just seeing some of the stuff that's out there right now, it's really just, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. This is not the land that I grew up in. I remember, I remember as a kid looking at the Middle East and thinking to myself, oh my goodness, how do those people live? And now I'm 38 years old in America, and Columbine isn't the one school shooting we remember every year. You can't even remember all the ones that are happening from year to year. And, people aren't feeling safe going. I go to a church down in Florida that has armed guards that walk around like fully just like Kevlar and a big old gun and all types of stuff, like multiple weapons. Just while you and you just see them walk around while I'm standing there with my family here in Mass. So it's not something that I ever thought this country was going to have, and it's not something that I ever envisioned. You know, I grew up as a kid thinking, how do we help those people overseas have a better life? And now I'm sitting here going, how did we get to where I feel like they were when I was a kid watching what was going on with them or hearing about it? So that's an annoying moment of the week to me because honestly, you know, people protest this and they protest that and they do this and they do that. I mean, I'm a man of God. I firmly, beyond everything, serve God. And there's never a time where I think that it's okay to be evil and be violent and to take somebody's life, to scare somebody out of their home, out of their community, out of their school, out of their place of business. So I just, and I've seen from like political parties over the years here in America, they're like, hey, if this person votes for this person and you find out, go terrorize them in a restaurant. And people are on camera like talking about like go attack people and go do, and I'm like, these are adults. And again, you know, we blame kids and we look at, you know, oh, well, these young kids did this and these young kids did that. I blame the parents. I blame the teachers. I blame the administrators and the people that are supposed to be teaching them. I mean, if you have adults on camera saying, hey, if you find someone that disagrees with us, go terrorize them. You know, you're training a child to become just as ignorant and irrational and violent and hateful as you are. And we can equally help to teach children how to love, how to be empathetic, how to be understanding, how to be listeners, to seek to understand other people and not just simply seek to be understood, to really understand that love is patient and love is kind and love does not boast and love does not delight in evil and it doesn't fail and it always persists. You know, the things that we read in the Bible. So, I mean, I think the thing that I wake up every morning thinking about is like, America felt safer to me than it does right now. And I want people to stop being so polarizing and stop being so divided and on everything. You know, there's people that just want to fight. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, I'm eating a chicken salad sandwich and you're spending an hour, I'm trying to enjoy this sandwich and you want to talk to me about why did I vote for that person? Why did I think this? Why did I do that? And it's like, you know, what have we come to? We were supposed to be a beacon of hope and light and freedom, strength, courage, standing up in the face of evil and saying we won't back down. And now we're doing a lot of things that make me question, how can we be a beacon of light if our light is dim? And I think we need to strengthen that light again. We need to put more wood on the fire and make this light bigger again. And I think that wood is hope. I think that wood is understanding. I think that wood is not treating any group better than the other. You know, well, let's replace this group with that group. Well, this group's been marginalized, so let's put them at the top, and then let's marginalize a different group. The thing is, as long as you're marginalizing somebody, as long as you're discriminating against somebody, as long as you're being prejudiced towards somebody, you're never going to fix the problem. You say, okay, well, you were treated better than these people, so now these people are going to be treated better than you, but that's just going to keep everything the same because ultimately you're still creating a divide. I don't think men are better than women. I don't think women are better than men. I don't think any color is better than another color. I don't think that if you have money, you're better than me. If you don't have money, you're less than me. I don't see well, you have this profession and this profession isn't as good as no. Everybody's a child of God. Everybody came here the same way. Nobody came here a different way. Everybody came here the same way. And we're all going to leave. Right? We're all going to leave at some point. And what you do in the middle, I remember somebody said this a long time ago, is the most important thing on your tombstone is the dash in between the year you were born and the year that you pass away. It's that dash. And that dash is so tiny, yet it represents an entire lifetime. And what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? How are you spending your days? How are you interacting with people? So my annoying moment of the week is stop teaching your kids hate. Stop handing a 3-year-old an iPad or an iPhone or an Android, whatever, and actually teach these kids about life. Take time to be a parent. I've wanted to be a parent my whole life. So to see someone disrespect the incredible opportunity and responsibility of being a parent makes me sick. Because I had a bunch of friends that tried to have kids and they lost their first baby. Friends that tried to have kids for years. Family members that adopted. We have multiple children in our family that were adopted into our family. So, it is a great, great honor to be a parent. It is a great undertaking. And once you are, you're never not a parent. But we have an opportunity to make positive change every single day in how we act and how we raise the future. And I just want us to be better with it. I have met some tremendous, tremendous children. So I can't tell you that the future is gone. I can tell you that there's things that I see and videos that I see and conversations that I see that make me question what the hell is being taught in schools and colleges and universities. But I can also tell you that I spend a lot of time with college students and high school students in the sports broadcasts that we do. And they give me hope. So understand that your job every single day, whether you are a cashier or a garbage worker or a teacher or a flight attendant or a lawyer or a doctor or a police officer or military or the media or whoever, that we all interact with somebody somehow, some way. And every single interaction can have a life-lasting effect, positively or negatively. It's time that we stop making excuses. Oh, I was tired. Oh, I was pissed. Oh, I was this. We don't have to be perfect. We have to be consistent. And being a consistently kind person, a consistently humble person, a consistently caring person. I'm tired right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't slept that great, and I don't know if I got to get a new pillow or what's going on, or if I'm tense in my sleep or what. But I don't get up going, okay, well, I didn't sleep great, so I'm going to go to the studio and I'm not going to do a good job. Because if I didn't do a good job, that would literally sit with me all day. It would sit with me tomorrow. So, as much as it's my annoying moment of the week that I think this country is not that beacon of light that it was, I believe that we can be. And I believe that you and I can do this thing. We just have to understand that no matter how tired we are, how sad we are, how down we are, how much lack of energy we might have in a moment, that life is such a blessing. And it's better to be alive than 6 feet under. And so as long as we are above ground, we have to do what we can to make positive change, to challenge things that are wrong. You know, one of the quotes I can't stand is, "It is what it is." That's why there's a sign in my studio. It's behind me where the dolphin is. I don't know if you can all see it, but it's right. So you see the dolphin picture? It's right here. It says, "It is what it is, but it becomes what you make of it." It will become what you make of it. Because if we went by "it is what it is," then women wouldn't be voting. If we went by "it is what it is," we'd still have slavery. If we went by "it is what it is," this wouldn't be America. It would be English colonies still. If we went by "it is what it is," nothing gets done for the greater good. It is what it is, but it will become what you make of it. And life is going to hand you adversity. How are you going to respond? Life is going to show you things that you don't like. How are you going to respond? Life is going to put people in your path that hurt you. How are you going to respond? Will you meet a fist with a fist? Or will you meet a fist with a desire to try and understand, to learn, to walk away if it's not a good scenario? How will you meet evil today? How will you meet goodness today? How will you be the good? How will you, in the words of Gandhi, be the change that you want to see in the world? I ask you that question, and I'll let you think about it on this fast break.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. It's time for us to jump into our second segment that we do every Friday here on Wake Up Call, and that being Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is the acronym, and proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. And our topic for today, their opinion of you doesn't matter. Their opinion of you doesn't matter. How many of us, thank you, Jerry, how many of us in life think that if somebody's got a negative opinion of us, we absorb that opinion? How many of us do that? How many of us are like, I feel good about myself, and we're walking down the street and we're feeling, we're happy and we're positive, and then somebody says or does something negative toward us and we say, okay, well, now I'm going to be negative for the rest of the day. Somebody brought me down. Their energy was negative, and now I'm going to carry their energy for the rest of the day. Let me ask you a question, and I'm asking myself this question too. Why would you carry somebody else's negative energy? If you see them burdened by this negative energy, and you see them trying to haul this thing down the street, and you see that they're sweating and they're like breaking their back trying to pull this negative energy down the street, why would you carry it? Why would you take it from them and carry it? They say that not every gift is a gift. People can wrap up dog doo-doo, put it in a pretty box, and hand it to you. And when you open it up and see that it's dog doo-doo, you don't have to keep it. You don't have to keep it. When somebody buys you something you don't like, and you go, thank you so much, I love it, oh, it's so great. And then you go to Kohl's and return it. So here's the thing. If somebody buys you a sweater you're never going to wear and you return it, why do you hold on to people's negative energy and negative opinions about you? Why don't you return those to sender? Right? Return those. Well, Dan, does that mean I have to call that person? No, it means you just let it out you just let it go. You just let it go. Let it flow, baby. Because their opinion of you doesn't matter. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. You hear people say that. And, people say, okay, well, what if somebody's opinion of me is right? Like, what if they're like, oh, you need to be on time, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. What about that? Well, deep down inside, you should know your faults. You should. And I'm not saying that other people can't help you realize things about yourself that maybe you don't know, or maybe they push you to be more honest and be more upfront and better with certain things. But their opinion of you doesn't matter, because it's their opinion. You have to know who you are. You have to understand who you are. And it's an ongoing process. Because there's things about myself I thought, yeah, I'm good. I learned this. I move forward. But then when you meet a new person, you're thinking, they don't know me. They don't know my history. They don't know everything I've been through. They don't know how I acted before. They don't know how I spoke before. So they might hear a story about something in my life, and they might think, wow, he's been through this, she's been through that. But they don't know who you were and where you came from. They're learning about you. And what I realized in myself recently here is that I might sound not as comfortable, when really I'm just thinking to myself, I know who I am, and I got to tell this person who I am, and I got to get them to know who I am. And it's like, you can't get somebody to know who you are. In a couple days, you can't pack in a light. I mean, maybe you could in a conversation, but you're not always going to be able to let someone know exactly who you are. You hope that you can let your light shine through. You hope that. But people hear things differently. And what I realized in life is that people hear people hear and understand things through the funnel of what they've been through. Each of us are a sum of our experiences. And being a sum of our experiences, if you hear me talk about something, I could be totally positive, I could come at you with a good heart, and I could be talking about something that I'm very passionate about with love, but it could be something that you're on the other spectrum of, or you're on the other side of. And so you automatically are like, no, he said this, and I'm against him. I didn't even hear anything he said. I didn't even hear his why. And I had a conversation about that recently, where I was talking about something that has come up and is like constantly talked about on television. And I thought, well, this is how I am as a man. And when I look at this situation and I talk to women about this situation, this is where I respect them, and this is where I respect myself, and I put it together. But if somebody only heard part of what I said, of like how I see it and how this and that, or if they hear it through the funnel of their experiences, they might turn around and say, you don't have a right, you don't have this, you don't have that. But ultimately, if you hear the whole story, what did the woman say to me at the end? She goes, well, you're a minority of men. Most men don't think the way that you do. And I was like, yeah, but I do think this way. Whether other men do or not is inconsequential to the fact that I do think this way. And I do believe in responsibility, and I do believe in showing up, and I do believe in being consistent. And so this polarizing conversation that people have could have been polarizing. But I stated my point. They stated where they're at. I stated where I'm at. Jay, good morning to you. Thanks for coming on here and saying what's up. I stated my point. They stated their point. And they allowed me the opportunity to talk with them about why I was at where I was at. And then they said, well, you know, essentially, now that I let you speak, Dan, I can understand where you're coming from. See, a lot of times I feel like life has become, instead of reading an entire quote, we just take a piece of the quote. And if you take a piece of a lot of quotes, you can make a lot of things sound bad. So I remember when I picked Syracuse in 2016 to win the ACC, and I picked North Carolina right behind them, I was the only person in the media that picked them. I was the only person in America of the ACC media that picked Syracuse to be first and North Carolina to be second in men's basketball in 2016. There was an article written about me from the local newspaper that I was a mystery man who revealed myself. I was not a mystery man. I literally wrote my picks on my website. My website is free, and there was total access to my website. I didn't hide. They just didn't find it. And when they found out it was me, they basically said to me, we're going to write this story with or without quotes from you, but would you like to give us quotes? And I gave them quotes as to why I picked Syracuse. And I said to myself, they're not going to use all my quotes. They're probably going to try and make me look stupid, because why are they contacting me in a positive way? You know what I mean? Like, they could be, but probably not. And from what I've known of this establishment. So I decided to write my own article, my own reasoning as to why I picked it. And of course, theirs came out and they only took two of my quotes and they took pieces of it, which sounded like I didn't really know what I was talking about, like I didn't have substance. If you read my article, it had, this is what I think of this guy, and this is what I think of this, and this is this with this, and I broke it all down. Well, here's the thing. Syracuse and North Carolina ended up making it to the Final Four. They did better than being at the top of the ACC. They made it all the way to the Final Four, and they represented 50% of the Final Four in Houston in 2016. And my mother and my father were like, well, where's the newspaper now? Where's the newspaper to take your quotes now? They wanted to make you look like an idiot. People have been making fun of you. People have been saying things about you and how you're a homer and you picked your hometown team and you don't know anything and da-da-da-da-da. And now that you're right, the earth is silent. So I was misrepresented, not fully quoted. And when I was right, Not a single soul from that newspaper or any TV station or any radio station where they claim to have experts on, when I was the only person in America that picked Syracuse and North Carolina to be at the top, and at the end of the season, they were at the top of over 300 schools as members of the Final Four. Not a single soul in the media wanted to talk to me about it. Not a single soul. And guess what? Their opinion of me didn't matter, because their opinion of me did not change the fact that I was right. Their opinion of me, trying to paint me as a crazy person as a mystery man and someone who revealed himself and this, that, whatever, everything they did from the title of the article was false. And when the truth set me free, when my prediction looked like, wow, this man is the only human being in America covering the ACC that was right about these teams and how good they were going to be. Because they're not even good in the ACC as much as they're good nationally. They're beyond the ACC good. But nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. I'll never forget, my father looked at me and said, "What are you going to do? What are they going to do when they find out you're right?" And my mom's like, they keep winning. Like, what's going to happen, Dan? How are people going to flip the story to, we wrote an article to make fun of this man, and we totally screwed up, and now he's right? And their response was silence. Their response was burying that story. Their response was, he never said that. And at best, maybe the response was, well, every squirrel gets a nut. Their opinion of you doesn't matter. The newspaper's opinion of me at that time and whenever, it didn't matter. It didn't change what I believed in. The fact that I was the only person in America covering the ACC that made that prediction, it didn't matter what other people thought, because they were wrong that year. They were wrong that year in how good I thought that team was going to be. And Syracuse didn't have to win the ACC. They went beyond their conference. And that was one of the greatest runs of my life. And in 2016, my dad and I were at the Final Four. He was sitting in the stands. I was sitting on press row. And my dad and I got to sit and see Syracuse play in a game that gave me vindication, in the sense of, like, I thought this team was good enough to do something special this year. And everyone that I'm sitting with, the overwhelming majority of these people, never saw this moment coming. But I can sit here with my dad and say, if the entire world has an opinion of me, I didn't see anybody else in that building except for my father and myself. You have to come to a place in your life where you stop worrying about other people's opinions. And you stop worrying about their opinions, thinking that those opinions are facts. We treat people's opinions like facts. You know, somebody says something bad about us, it's a fact, right? Why do we do that? Why do we live in a world where we're so terrified if somebody doesn't like us? Because social media literally has follows and likes and, and clicks and all this stuff. And I'm not saying don't be on social media. I utilize social media for my companies, or for my company and all the pieces of my company. But life is not about clicks and likes and follows and hearts and all this stuff. Fake hearts. Life is about touching a real heart. Life is about doing the best that you can do. And if you are burdened by the opinions of other people, you will never, ever get out of the quicksand. Trust a man who's telling you, because I've been in the quicksand. If you are burdened by other people's opinions of you, you will constantly be stuck. And you will sink. Because not everybody's going to like you. I mean, Syracuse lost a football game last week. And if Fran Brown listened to some of the quote-unquote fans, and I'm using quotes because I don't consider these people to be fans. I consider them to be fanatics, and I consider them to be ridiculous. Real fans don't attack people. There were people that were like, Fran's done after this year. Fran's not going to make it. Fran's washed up. Da-da-da-da-da. And then one guy attacked Isaac and I for doing a post-game show telling you the story of what happened in the game and giving you the positives and the things to work on. So he's obviously mad at the team for losing, and now he's attacking broadcasters for recounting a game that they had no part in, whether or not Syracuse stopped a 4th and 9. So what you realize in life is people don't have to be rational to have an opinion. They don't have to be logical to have an opinion. They don't have to be faithful and kind to have an opinion. They don't have to be positive to have an opinion. I'm not saying don't have mentors. I'm not saying don't have good people come across in your life and allow them to change you for the better. I'm saying other people's opinions of you does not matter more than the truth of who you know you are inside your heart. And people will love you for who you are. And if people don't, if people are wildly inconsistent, then you have to let those people go. You have to let those people go. You know, I pray every single day. And if I don't say it out loud, I mean it every single day. And I apologize to God if I don't say it every day. Because I mean it every day. I say, God, please help for today, tonight, and so on to be long, fun, and go by slowly. To be a long, fun time. Fun. Enjoy it. No matter what it is, no matter what comes our way, no matter what adversity or strife, to have fun, celebrate, appreciate our life, and for it to be long and go by slowly. Because I don't want life to speed by. And I feel like these last couple of weeks, I feel like I was just sitting here. I literally was thinking yesterday, I'm like, how did it go from there was a Syracuse game on a Friday night to there's a Syracuse game tomorrow? How quick did this week go by? And I pray to God, I'm like, God, please slow time down. Because I'm only going to be 38 once. Right? This is only going to be the fall of 2024 once. And I love fall. We have to celebrate our life. And when you are burdened by other people's opinions, you think about it. If you were running for president and you were burdened by other people's opinions, nobody would run for president. Can you imagine what life is like right now for the candidates that are running? Whether you agree with them or not, whether you like them or not, do you understand if these people have any type of, like if they have eyes and ears, they are consistently hated every single day. And they're hated sometimes for things that aren't true. They're hated for things that were fabricated. They're misquoted. They're misrepresented. They're misunderstood. Can you imagine? To me as a kid, running for president was an honor. The fact that you wanted to positively impact this country and hopefully the world. That you wanted to do a good deed, that you could look up to God and you could see God's smiling face shining down upon you and say, good job, son. Good job, daughter. Keep going. Or this is where you need to work on it, but I love you. You run for what some people consider to be the most powerful seat in the world. And in order to do it, you have to have Kevlar skin. If you want to be an athlete today and you throw 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, and then the next game you throw 3 interceptions and one gets returned for a touchdown, and then you turn on the TV and they're like, is this dude washed up? Should they get rid of him? You have somebody taunt you, so you taunt them back. And then you turn on the television and these channels think that this person was right for taunting you, and these other channels think that you were right for taunting them, and they're talking bad about you here, but they're talking good about you there. people's opinions, we should know that in an election year for president, we should see fully, without doubt, that other people's opinions of us do not matter and that other people's opinions of us are none of our business. Because looking at life right now, people make money on having opinions about things. Now, I'm a broadcaster. I have opinions. But see, my thing is, my opinions are backed. Like, if I'm going to have an opinion on something, I want to back it up in facts. I want to back it up in reasoning that's logical and rational. And I told you, I will talk about things as examples, like Matt Sluka and what he did at UNLV. I didn't even know you could do that until he did that. And now that he did that, now anybody could do that. And now the running back did that at the same school. Michael Allen, not for the same reason, he says, but he said, oh, you're going to quit on the team? I'm going to quit on the team too. Cool. And what stops the rest of UNLV from quitting on each other? And what stops people in Syracuse or Kansas or Kentucky or USC or UCLA or Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan or Florida State or Texas or Oklahoma from quitting on each other? Nothing. Because Matt Sluka showed you that there's a loophole in the rules and you can quit on your team in the middle of the season. You can claim a red shirt for yourself, which I didn't even know that you could do that. Because I've always understood that you get redshirted when a school decides to redshirt you, not when you decide to redshirt yourself. So I'm using Matt as an example, and I'm not witch hunting Matt. I'm using Matt as an example. I use LeBron as an example. I don't look at LeBron James and go, he's a terrible person. I don't have a right to think that way. I don't like his lack of sportsmanship at times. And I use that to tell a greater story that I don't want to see a kid walk off a court with 4 minutes to play because they're losing. Well, LeBron's my favorite player. If he did it, I can do it. Well, now you just taught another person to not be a good sport, to not respect the game and the fact that sometimes you do lose. None of us are going to win every single thing. You're not. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to win every single thing that you do. You're going to ask somebody out. They're going to say no. You're going to apply for a job. You're going to get a no. Right? You're going to study for the test and do everything you can, but you're not going to get 100. No one's going to have a perfect all the time. It's about being consistent. It's about bouncing back. It's about learning. It's about evolving. It's about ad-libbing. And it's about delivering on the promises you made to yourself. Other people's opinions of you come and go like clouds. It is your job to stand like a mountain and saying, no matter what clouds will pass by me today, good opinions and bad opinions, good thoughts and bad thoughts, good actions and bad actions, they are like clouds. And I am a mountain. And though these clouds move around me, I stand strong and I stand tall. Be the mountain. God bless you. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll be back to honor the top dogs of the week. And I am so excited to do that. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, and it is absolutely time for our top dogs of the week. Top dogs of the week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the place to bring your dogs here in the community of Central and Upstate New York, and those that are visiting as well, because not only have we reached out to people in Central and Upstate New York and told them about Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, but we've also shared it with those that are traveling into town with their dogs, and they've trusted us and gone over and utilized the services of this wonderful company. I want to thank Lorraine and Chad and the team for short and long-term care for our dogs. Canine Camp Dog Daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. And, of course, to call them to make sure that you can bring your dog over and go through everything that you need to get set up and feel that peace of mind, 315-437-7110 for the daycare. That's 315-437-7110. You can get more information by going to K-9, kamp.com. And, of course, for dog boarding, for longer-term care for your dog, where every dog gets their own cabin, you can get in touch with them at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And you can visit them on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, as well as get a bunch of information on the Canine Kampground location on kampground.com. That's kampground.com. Honored this week is the entire LeMoyne Dolphins Gold Wave class, the 2024 inductees to the LeMoyne Dolphin Hall-of-Fame, which they call the Gold Wave. They are all our top dogs of the week. Tom Bonus, the LeMoyne Dolphins men's soccer head coach of over 20 years. Erica Geremia, LeMoyne Dolphins women's lacrosse student athlete. And joining me in just a little while here on the broadcast around 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Dick Rockwell, to celebrate the induction of the 1981 LeMoyne Dolphins baseball team that he was the head coach of. We'll start with Tom Bonus here on Wake Up Call. This is Dan Tortora here for a very special Dolphin Dive celebrating Tom Bonus, over 20 years serving as the head coach of the LeMoyne Dolphins men's soccer program and honored in the 2024 induction class to the Gold Wave Hall of Fame. Tom, how are you?
Good. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing very well. So it's interesting for me, a lot of the things I think of, because the last time you and I were here on campus, we were sitting on the field talking about you ending your time here. Yeah, right in the goal. So what's it like to be back and to celebrate your time at LeMoyne?
It's always good to be on campus. You know what? Over my 20-some years here, I just developed such good friendships with the coaches and the faculty. Those are people that I still stay in touch with. So coming back is really not a shock for me. Seeing some of those people is good to see. But it's always great being back here. Seeing the team here was supporting me today, and getting to see Callum and so forth.
And the thing is that it was so recent that you had finished up your time here at LeMoyne. So, like you said, getting to see the team, you're seeing familiar faces, you're seeing people you recruited. What was it like to have the whole soccer team show up to support you today?
It was great. I think you hit it right on the nose, especially the guys that I recruited, that were here, that I always had a good relationship with. That was great. And, obviously there was new guys that are on the team and they're here to support me. I think one thing that I'm excited about is with Callum in charge. I think that as a player and as an assistant coach, he definitely has the qualities to keep this program going in the direction that I want it to go. Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, doesn't matter. I think he has the qualities that I think he'll do a great job.
And we're here to honor you. And of course, in true Tom Bonus fashion, you're talking about somebody else. So Callum was at your table. He was there with you and your wife and your daughter. Just what it meant to celebrate this moment of your history with him.
Great, and to be honest, and Callum's parents are here from Scotland, who I have a very good relationship, so I'll run into them later and talk to them. But it was great having Callum here, supporting me, and and I want that to continue. I'm supporting him down the road. I think we have a good relationship. He's a good friend, and it was great having my wife and daughter here. Very supportive to this whole process.
Yeah, and when you think about that, I mean, above everything that you've been able to celebrate, the fact that you have gone through this with obviously your wife, and at the same time with your daughter, to get to see this moment, to get to see a bunch of moments in your life as she's young here and getting to watch it all. What does that mean to talk with them about being in the Hall of Fame, to celebrate it with them? I know you talked about your mom, so just what it's like to have your wife and your daughter here for this.
It's awesome. I definitely, that's one thing that I'm excited about. That will be a memory that Riley will always have in her life, and I think just them being here and sharing that moment with me was very special.
You said that you were going to roast Scott Peterson. What has Scott meant to you?
Scott has been fantastic, and I honestly meant what I say. I think he treated all my players. He's been with men's soccer for 23 years. Treated all my players with respect, and he went beyond the Call of Duty to take care of them. I wish he could have been here today. But I felt it was important to mention him and what he's doing.
And as far as Dick Rockwell, I know he was here and celebrating as well with the 1981 baseball team that was inducted to the Gold Wave. Dick giving you an opportunity, and him being somebody that is obviously synonymous with LeMoyne.
Yeah, I definitely thank him for the opportunity. Because I think that I was young then, and he took a chance on me, and him and Pam accepted me in, and I just got here and I liked it, and I think that and I learned a lot of things from Rock as an AD. He was definitely unique as an AD, and so it was good.
And then we look back on your history, a two-time NE10 champion as far as the conference tournament goes, two-time coach of the year in the NE10. Just bring me into those memories and that moments of being at the top of a conference that, in my opinion, in many sports, not just soccer, is extremely competitive in the country when it comes to the world of NCAA Division II. So just what it was to be a champion in the NE10 as well as to be coach of the year.
Well, you know what, Dan? Obviously, the one thing that I never accomplished here as a coach, and I would have liked to, is win a national championship. And otherwise than that, I've done it all. We were #1 in the country. We won the NE10 regular season. Went to the Final Four. So all those things I'm really proud of. And more or less, I couldn't have done it without the players. The players gave me everything they had. I was really lucky. I had a good group of assistant coaches. The thing now with my coaching up in OCC, I got 4 of my former players as my assistants. Yeah. And I think that says a lot for our program.
Well, and you're a relationship person, and people say, how do you live in the world that we're in today, where it's such a me world and so me oriented, including in collegiate athletics? And my response was, if you care about people and you care about building relationships more than anything else, you're always going to be successful. And to your credit, not only did you have success here, but having your 4 assistants be your former players says a lot about the effect that you had on them, that they're choosing to work with you again.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree, and I like it because they know what I expect and what I want to do. But I think more of anything is just the loyalty that they have.
And I see with the LeMoyne backdrop, you being at OCC now in your first season as the head coach, you're wearing laser blue.
Yeah.
So I do have to ask just what the experience has been like, because when you and I were on the field in the goal, I said to you, there's no way that I believe you're going to stop coaching. And it was about 5 minutes after that you ended up at OCC. So just bring me into what it's been like over there.
Great over there. I like everyone, from the AD to the SID. It's definitely been different, but it's been a good different. I really like the players a lot this year. They've really given me everything they've had. And we're actually doing okay. okay. We're 5-0-3 right now, and I think the last time we ranked like 8th in the nation. So we're doing okay. But I like it. It's it's a challenge for me, and that's what I grow on, challenges.
I spoke with former LeMoyne men's soccer head coach Keith Gage, and he spoke very highly of you. Just what you can say about how you first interacted with him and how that relationship began, and just what you think about Keith being here today.
Well, I think after a few years of having a job here, I knew that I needed to reach out to him and connect with him, and so we connected, and right away he was awesome in connecting me with some of the alumni, because those alumni gave a lot of money to the program, donated a lot, and really helped the program grow. As where my alumni were just young and they didn't have those resources yet, so I appreciate all those guys that he connected me with, and after that it was a seamless relationship.
Final note: you'll be in the Gold Wave Hall of Fame forever now. Riley gets to see it, Carrie gets to see it, everyone connected to you will always know that, and people that have never crossed paths with you are going to be able to see your name. What does it mean to you that 249 wins and all those consecutive berths in the NE10 and everything that you've done, that it's all come together to the fact that your name is etched in history on the heights at LeMoyne forever?
I think it's one thing that I'm very proud of, more than that, like the wins and all that stuff is great. But what I really enjoy, Dan, is hearing from former players about, they're having kids, they're doing this job, and I know I'll have that in my life. I just met with one of my former players on Wednesday. We had coffee and we were talking. It was great. Definitely the getting in the Hall of Fame is a great thing, but having those connections with the former players is something that is always going to be very special.
No surprise as we start with you talking about other people other than yourself, and you end that way. Tom Bonus, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks.
Coming from Tom Bonus, inducted into the LeMoyne Dolphins Gold Wave Hall of Fame as part of the 2024 class. Over 20 years that he spent with the team as their head coach for LeMoyne Dolphins men's soccer. And now we go into my conversation with another inductee in the 2024 class, that being Erica Geremia of women's lacrosse at LeMoyne. This is Dan Tortora here with Erica Geremia, celebrating her Gold Wave Hall of Fame induction here in 2024, and of course a member of the women's lacrosse team here at LeMoyne. Erica, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. So just going back to that time, some of those memories that are top of mind to you, what sticks out when you're standing up on that stage remembering your career? What are some of those things that stood out to you?
I would say my teammates and my coaches. I can start with Kathy. Kathy had just an amazing staff underneath her, and she just was able to fuel them, which then fueled our team to want to compete for each other, with each other, and then it got to the point where we were like, we're actually really good, and then we knew championship weekend could be our future, and I think we got there. I'm trying to think back. We got there in the 2015, that first season, Kathy and I, and when we made it to that Final Four, I think the program changed from there, and the team itself just cultivated and wanted to get back to championship weekend. And then, 2 years after I graduated, the team ended up winning a national championship. So I'm definitely super proud to be a part of the beginning stages of the fuel behind LeMoyne women's lacrosse.
And you talked about getting to the Final Four, and then a couple of years later they win a national championship. As much as you weren't physically there on the field, they say that, and I'm a firm believer in this, that a championship is not built in a year, it's not built in one season. So did you feel a part of that national championship?
I did, and I actually have so many personal ties with that. One of her assistants at the time was my teammate in high school and actually my teammate at Portland. And she also knew how to win, wanted to win. We won state championships together, and so seeing that, and then Kathy Taylor, and then all the younger girls underneath me. I think when I was a senior, the girls that had won were then now sophomores and juniors, so I got to play with them. They got to like be fueled on how like I wanted to win, and I know winning isn't everything, but like you never have fun if you're not winning. So I always had fun winning, and I think that, you know, at least I would hope that the way I played and dialed in and I presented myself was just a reflection of how they played. You know, I didn't take any plays off in practice. I wanted to be the best in every drill. I didn't selfishly do that. I just wanted it. And that's what my coaches wanted, that's what my teammates wanted, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Where did that come from, that inner drive to just want it every single play, every practice, every opportunity that you had to work out or watch film? Where does that drive come from?
You know what? That is such a good question, because I try to think about that too. And I mean, no offense to my parents, but like my parents never went to college, so they weren't really athletes. Like I never had anybody to like look up to in that sense. But I would say like they raised me to like be the best version of myself. And then they also surrounded me around people that got me there too. Whether it was small moments or big moments, like, you know, high school, I had an amazing coach that won state championships. He was around. Growing up, I actually played more club soccer than I did playing lacrosse, and those club soccer programs are insane, if anyone knows club soccer. But and then when I started getting recruited, I fell in love with Kathy Taylor right away. To be honest, like, I was pretty innocent in the recruiting timeline, and I didn't go to many places. I fell in love with Kathy Taylor and what she wanted to do at that program. And then I fell in love with Portland at the same time before I got to Portland. And so, again, I think they surround me around some good people that were able to push me. And then I think that I just was built this way. I have this inner drive. I always, you know, trained. I trained around the best. My brother's super competitive, so I always had him in my back pocket. I always wanted to keep up with him, but...
You come from Camillus, you went to West Jenny, and then you go from West Jenny to SUNY Cortland to LeMoyne, and you're at Hobart and William Smith now. So what is it about the state of New York and the level of lacrosse here that has just kept you tied really close to upstate New York?
Yeah. Again, I think it's the people. So like if I look back on, like, I did move away for a few years and then I came back home, and coming back home, the easiest thing for me to do was come back to Camillus and be in the West Tennessee School District. And now that I have two kids, it's awesome that I get to raise them through the school district that I so love. But the transition to like Hobart, I think, was, again, the coaches there and the girls there are fueled like me, and the fact that I can add to it only makes me happier. And yeah, like I would say those girls are definitely upstate New York girls, Rochester, Buffalo, some Syracuse, and then we have some New Jersey kids. But yeah, there is something about being in this area that makes me happy, and also my family's here, and I absolutely need my village. So.
And being at Division III at SUNY Cortland, coming to LeMoyne Division II, now LeMoyne's Division I, so a connection to all three of the divisions in the NCAA. I know that you had the opportunity to take a picture here with Liz Bevel, but what can you say about what she's doing in this transition to D1 as a head coach at LeMoyne?
You know, I think that she's doing the best she can. I think she also came to LeMoyne like during like a time period where like Kathy left, such amazing things were happening here. She got to grab it. She also was coached underneath Kathy Taylor at Cortland, so she knew how to win. She wanted to win. She knew how to like embrace a good culture, how to run a good program. I actually had the privilege to coach next to Liz when we were at Colgate together. So I totally think LeMoyne is so lucky to have her in the global part of the women's lacrosse program. I think the transition to Division I is just going to be hard in general. They just got there, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. But I can't say enough good things about her. LeMoyne deserves her. She deserves LeMoyne, and I'm rooting for them.
And a final note, being from Central New York forever, you talk about raising your kids in the community you grew up in, and your kids now know you as a Hall of Famer, and you will forever be etched in that. Has that sunk into you that you can come back to LeMoyne and you will always be a part of the Gold Wave?
It has, you know, I mean, I still am a little like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm in the Hall of Fame. Like, I just think that I've always been known as like, oh, you played for Kathy Taylor all 4 years, like you made it to 4 Final Fours. Like, I didn't win a national championship, but I was able to cultivate so many good things that have happened here at LeMoyne. But I think that I'm super appreciative of being recognized as a personal honor, because I think that going to Final Fours, even being recognized as Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year, like I do throw that all back to my teammates. I really do, because I don't make it to the Final Four without them. But I think that the Gold Wave Hall of Fame, I can truly own this because I did do my work. And like I said in my speech earlier, is I do hope it serves as an inspiration for girls to be all in and be confident. And I think that's something that I hope for all athletes in today's world learn a little bit more. Being in the coaching world, I see a little bit all over the place, but I was all in. I took so many risks. I got yelled at a lot, but I didn't care because I knew what I wanted. I knew what the program wanted. I knew what we all needed. And our main goal was to get to championship weekend and win. And if that took making 1,000 mistakes, it took making 1,000 mistakes. But I didn't let it get to me. And so, like I said, I think that I am proud that I can own this award, and I am truly honored.
Well, incredible way to honor this day for you and your family. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That coming from Erica Geremia once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, celebrating her induction into the 2024 class of the LeMoyne Dolphins Gold Wave Hall of Fame, playing women's lacrosse at LeMoyne and coaching from there and having an awesome career beyond that to not only play the sport, but to now coach the sport and to help young minds move forward in their own careers and in their own stories. So very much appreciate having Erica on the show, and Tom Bonus, as they are our top dogs of the week, as well as the 1981 baseball team headed up by Dick Rockwell, who will join me live after this fast break to speak on their induction and why that team will always be special. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I am honored, as always, every single week to bring you the top dog of the week. This week we had the top dogs of the week as we celebrated many of the wonderful people that have come into Lemoyne and obviously been a part of this Gold Wave. So it is my honor and my privilege to be able to share with you the opportunity to not only celebrate Tom Bonus, who you heard from, and Erica Geremia, who you heard from as well, but to also celebrate the 1981 baseball team. And that 1981 baseball team at LeMoyne, headed up by longtime head coach and also athletics director at LeMoyne College, and that being Dick Rockwell, who's no stranger to the broadcast. And I proudly bring him on here live on the phone. Dick, how are you?
Hi, Dan. It's always a pleasure being with you.
And I appreciate that. And Dick, I mean, when you think about the 1981 baseball team at LeMoyne, what are the first things that come to mind when you recall that specific team?
Well, I think it was a group of young players who truly liked to play. You know, we used to say in the old days, LeMoyne was an academic school. Baseball was a plus. I think it all changed in the middle 70s when Syracuse dropped baseball. I think overnight we started getting better. I think the 1978 team was the first LeMoyne College team to ever play at a national competition. So a lot of the 81 players were on that 78 team. And they were good players. Obviously, those that went into professional baseball did very well. And it's just a group of good players that enjoyed playing together. It was a pleasure being there Saturday when they honored this group. They've been overlooked for a few years. Also with Tom Bonus, the amount of respect and admiration I had for what he'd done with the soccer program. It was a very special day at LeMoyne, in my opinion, as I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, and like you said, when baseball went away at Syracuse University and just what came after that, for you, when that happened and Syracuse said, hey, we're not going to have a baseball program anymore, as a coach, did you feel like that was going to have that immediate impact, that immediate effect? Like, hey, you know, here at LeMoyne, we can take advantage of this moment in the community. We could turn it into a positive. Did you get a sense for that?
I can remember having a conversation with Tom Nyland, who was the athletic director at the time, and I said, Coach, every place I seem to go, Syracuse is right behind me, and they're getting the players that we really would like to have. I think now that Syracuse has dropped it, I think we're going to be able to bring in some players that'll truly fit the design of LeMoyne College athletics, and I would hope you'd give us a little extra help, and he did. And baseball seemed to take off somewhere around 75, 76. And obviously, we're all very proud of what those student athletes accomplished.
Yeah, and for 1981, I mean, you got to be around the team, of course, over this past weekend when we had the Gold Wave Hall-of-Fame induction for the class of 2024. When you got to be around these student athletes again and see them and see them grow up and just, you know, the men that they've become and whatnot, what did you take away from the day itself when you were there on Saturday? And obviously I got to see you and your wife. What were some of the best parts of being around that team that are now obviously all grown men with their lives beyond baseball?
You know, the amazing thing to me, Dan, is how successful they've become. Not only in their chosen profession, which some of them have done extremely well, but in their personal life and their family situation. And the thing that stuck out the most is more than one person said to me, hey, thanks for the discipline you had on that club. That discipline has been the lifeline of my chosen profession. And I think whenever you hear positive things and you know, as you get older and you get in a situation, people have a tendency to say good things, but it was overwhelming Saturday. When Pam and I left, we were totally amazed that the conversation. There were three players I haven't seen since they graduated from Moyne College. So to say it was a special day would be obviously an understatement.
And here with Dick Rockwell, the longtime head coach of LeMoyne Baseball, joining me here today to celebrate the 1981 baseball team. And you said some of the guys you haven't seen since they graduated. So what was that experience like, all that time in between, when you reconnected with them this past weekend? Did it feel like no time had passed? I mean, how did that moment go for you, for those that you hadn't seen in such a long time, when you finally got to reconnect with them?
Well, there were a couple of embarrassing situations. I had to ask who they were, and that becomes an embarrassment. But I think that just going back and talking stories, and of course my original question is, how's the family doing? What's happening in the family, and so forth. And then you get the experiences of baseball and how much they enjoy playing at LeMoyne. And I go back to this discipline thing. 5 or 6 of them said, geez, Coach, we appreciated the discipline you had in that club, because that has really helped us. And I think everybody likes to hear positive things, but as you get older, I think it has a tendency to mean more. So from that standpoint, I spent most of my time with players that I haven't seen since they left, but I tried to talk to everyone, and I'm sure I did, and it seemed like everyone I talked to made me feel a little bit better. And I know that doesn't sound right, but it's an experience that I think lasts a long time.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, like you said, when you reconnect and you spend a lot of time with those that you hadn't seen, so obviously, wanting to make up for lost time, so to speak. You being a coach that's had so much success, the field is named after you. We know that last year, getting to see the jersey, a jersey retirement in your honor, and a jersey that's going to be out there at the field, and your name in that baseball Hall of Fame, so to speak, as well as the representation of your name on the field itself. For you, Dick, what have these years been like? That, I mean, people that come through LeMoyne, and it's not just baseball. If you're around LeMoyne, if you're around the Dolphins, you're around the sports programs, you talk to people about history, your name seems to be, if not the most brought up, it's one of the most brought up. Does that hit you? That, I mean, you put so much work in, spent so many years, but when people come to the field, it's Dick Rockwell Field. When people learn about baseball and what LeMoyne's done over the years, you're always a part of it. And, to me, Coach, at least in my eyes, I look over at Scott and I feel like I'm going to see you standing there too, because it's just the air and the spirit of what you've done for LeMoyne baseball seems to always be there. And I wonder if when you're on campus, if you get a sense of that, or a feeling of the fact that that there's a lot of synonymous kind of connection between your name and LeMoyne.
Well, I think, it does have an impact on you that you had, you had somewhat of a positive impact on athletics. I came to LeMoyne in 67. I retired in 2007. Whenever we have these get-togethers and players come back, and the thing that has impressed me the most is the number of players that do come back. I mean, they come from California, from Tennessee. The day after, we had a player stop for a couple hours that lives in Chattanooga. First time he'd been home in a while, back in Syracuse. So I think whenever you're on campus and people relive things that happened 20, 25 years ago, it is special. And I think that when I look back on special things, I shared an office with Carmen Basilio and Tom Nyland, two of the most professional people you can have. So I was so fortunate, and with that said, the amount of players that came in who become successful, not only in professional baseball, which makes you very proud, but in life in general, it's special, Dan. And it's when you ask a question when you're on campus and people remember, I think very simplistically you can sum it up and say, geez, it makes you feel good.
Yeah. That coming from Dick Rockwell here in this edition of the Dolphin Dive. We're live with the former LeMoyne Head Baseball Coach of many years, as well as Athletics Director, celebrating the 1981 team that he oversaw as their head coach, joining the Gold Wave in 2024. I'm going to read this off, Dick, and this was here at the event as well for people to see, but I want to really show the picture of this 1981 team that's gone in to the Hall of Fame at LeMoyne, and then get your thoughts on some of these things. The 1981 baseball team went 48-8 over the fall and spring seasons and finished in 7th place at the NCAA championships. The team featured 4 members who earned election into the Gold Wave Hall of Fame and 4 who went on to play professionally. The Dolphins went 21-2 during the fall season, the best in the program's history, including a 19-game winning streak. During the spring, the Dolphins went 27-6, including 24-4 in the regular season. The team won its last 15 regular season games, which was also done by the Hall of Fame 1979 team, and extended the streak to 18 by winning its 3 games of the Northeast Regional at MacArthur Stadium, the old home of who were the Syracuse Chiefs. The Dolphins captured their 3rd regional title in 4 years by defeating Adelphi University in the championship game to advance to the NCAA championships in Riverside, California. The Dolphins scored 5 runs in each game at the championships, but had losses to Cal State Northridge and Eastern Illinois. Mike Fennell, Steve Melisa, and Dave Thompson earned All-America honors for the 1981 baseball team, and I'd want to thank Craig Lane for sharing that information from LeMoyne. When I read all that off, Coach, I mean, in 1981 going 48-8, which is 21-2 on one side and 27-6, from fall to spring respectively, and the guys that went on to play professionally, the fact that you went to the NCAA championships, finished in 7th place, 3rd regional title in 4 years. This 1981 team is incredible when you look at these statistics and look at these program bests and different things that have happened. When I read off all of those things, can you go back into that season? Are you kind of transported back to 1981, back to California? Do you get a sense for that when you hear all of the success that came from that team?
I think the important thing that came out of that, Dan, was the fall season. Back in the 70s, fall baseball was an important part of your program.
Yeah.
And it was the baseball coach at Ithaca by the name of Carpwood, and I started fall baseball in New York. And I think that really helped. And you talked about Saturday. You just read off, and you heard Dave Thompson talk on behalf of the '81 team. Of all the players and all the years and all the success we had at LeMoyne baseball, Dave Thompson would be your number one spokesman. If no one excels the LeMoyne thing as much as Dave Thompson. And maybe I heard him in Cincinnati. He was a speaker at the Tom Browning Memorial, the celebration of life for Tom Browning. He was impressive there. He really is what you truly say represents LeMoyne College baseball. So when you read off all that staff and you read off about Mike Fennell and Dave Thompson and those that became successful, it really makes you feel good.
And you said Dave Thompson is the spokesperson. He's the one that you would choose. What is it about him that you feel like is such a great representation of LeMoyne baseball, LeMoyne College, of the program as it moves forward. Why Dave, to go a little bit deeper into why you feel like he is the spokesperson that you would put out there to talk about this team and the history of the team?
He loved to play. He was so enthusiastic. I mean, if you ever had a player that you were trying to describe what you would want in a player, it was Dave Thompson. And he was the same way in the classroom. And he was the same way he's been successful in his career. And I think he brought an enthusiasm and the love. He talked about the love of the game. Dave Thompson brought the love of the game to Moyne College campus. And I'm so pleased, and I've heard him speak so many different times and so many different occasions. Moyne College, forget the baseball for a minute. Moyne College has to be extremely pleased to have a graduate like Dave Thompson represent Moyne College.
That coming from Dick Rockwell. Dick, before I let you go, your New York Yankees finally clinched their division of the AL East. They wanted everybody apparently to be on pins and needles until this came to fruition, having a series against the Orioles, who still had a fighting shot of mathematically getting the division with a few games to go. They dropped 2 to the Orioles in New York, in the Bronx, and they just won the last one 10-1. All they had to do was win 1 to secure it. They have now secured the AL East title. The New York Yankees will not have to play in the wild card. They will automatically go on to the divisional round. Bring me in. I want to hear Dick Rockwell's assessment of the 2024 New York Yankees.
The people at the gym that I talk, we talk sports, say the Yankees are like the weather. You never know how it's going to change. You never know the outcome is going to be the natural time. I love watching Soto hit. I enjoy watching him play, but like the guys at the gym say, they're just like watching the weather.
They're just like watching the weather. That coming from Dick Rockwell here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Well, Dick, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you, as always, for your friendship and the connection that we have on and off the air. Appreciate you and your family, and great to see you and your wife at the event and to be around and get to celebrate more from the history of LeMoyne baseball with this 1981 team, part of our top dogs of the week this week as they enter into the Gold Wave Hall-of-Fame at LeMoyne in the 2024 induction class. As always, thank you, Dick, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
As I said at the beginning, it's always a pleasure being with you, Dan. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Bye.
See you. That coming from Dick Rockwell, and kind words from somebody who, as I said, is synonymous with LeMoyne. So, he says he appreciates being with me, and I would send it back to him and say that the pleasure is mine. So, all mine. We'll take a step aside in our final fast break of today's broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will be back to wrap things up right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, there for you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. There's just no place like it. There's a reason why GG Cards and Breaks is our sports card and trading card shop of choice here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. They're just different. It starts with Josh and Anthony, and it goes throughout the entire team. They love cards. They collect cards. They're not just selling a product going, hey, come buy this thing. They're selling a product that they buy. They're selling product that they believe in. They're selling product that they still open and are big kids about. So I have all the respect in the world for people that actually care about the thing that they're selling and the thing that they're doing. And to me, when you walk in there, it's about being a big kid. Whether you are 4 years old or 8 years old or 70 years old or 80 years old, when you walk into GG Cards and Breaks, you're immersed in cards from all different sports, from hockey and soccer and baseball and football and basketball and so on and so forth, to Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Disney Lorcana, which is a newer trading card game, aka TCG. So when you're there, I mean, you just have the opportunity to be whoever you want to be, collect what you want to collect. And if you're a Yankee fan, they got it. If you're a Celtic fan, they got it. And you know, if you're a Cowboy fan or a Giants fan or whoever you may be, they're all there. And that's the beauty of walking in and seeing it, is that there's just something different at GG Cards and Breaks. It's their attention to detail. It's the time that they take on different things. It's how they put things together. It's what they do every single day to challenge themselves to be a unique card shop and to be a card shop that really hits so many different bases. So to me, GG Cards and Breaks is a grand slam. Head there today, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, folks, I can't believe we're done. Kind of sad about it. I'm like, all right, I guess have a great weekend, guys. But you know what? It's my show. I'm going to spend a couple more minutes with you. I want to let you know what's going on with these teams, because I had made some notes, and Papa Joe and I talked about it yesterday, that the Orioles and the Yankees, as of yesterday morning, were still mathematically, the division wasn't declared. They're both going to go to the playoffs as of yesterday morning. They had both clinched a playoff spot, but the Yankees had not clinched their division. All they had to do was essentially win a game, but they went 0-2 against the Orioles in the first 2 games of the 3-game series that they had that ended yesterday. But winning that series yesterday, and they won it by a score of 10-1, winning that third game clinched, they didn't win the series, pardon me, winning that third game clinched the division for the Yankees. Now they have a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the division has been won, so maybe they'll rest some people. We'll see what they're going to do here, because they already know where they're going to be. They already know that they are through the first round. They don't have to play in the wild card. When you're in the top 2 seeds for the postseason in baseball, you don't have to play in that wild card round, so you go straight on to the divisional series. The Yankees are 93-66. The Guardians are 92-67, so it's not like they can just mail it in, because the Yankees, I mean, they know they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. There's no way that the Houston Astros can catch them. So they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. They know that they're already through the wild card round. But now against Pittsburgh, you want to take care of business. You want to be the number 1 seed. If the postseason were to happen today, so if we look at the 2024 bracket for Major League Baseball and see what this picture looks like, if it were to happen today, the Yankees would be the number 1 seed, and they would play the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which is Baltimore and Kansas City. So they would either have to play Baltimore, who they have fought with in the division to win the division all the way up to yesterday, or they would play the Kansas City Royals. The Guardians would be second, and they would go up against the winner of the 3-6 matchup, which is Houston and Detroit as of this point, respectively. And we'll get to the other side in a second. But the Yankees are currently the number 1 seed, and the question becomes, who do you want to play? Where do you want to be at, essentially? Because where we're at right now is you're going to play the Royals or the Orioles. So if you go back and you look at the Yankees and you look at their record that they've had this season, I think it's important to go back, and we're going to go to the first half of the season here, and then we'll go to the second half. The New York Yankees this season against if they were to play the Royals or the Orioles, I'm going to take a look first at Baltimore. So their first series they had with Baltimore, they lost with a record of 1-3. They were 1-3 in that first series at Baltimore. This would obviously be in New York City, but they just dropped 2 in New York City to Baltimore. And then outside of that, they played Kansas City on the road. They beat Kansas City 3-1. Then they had Baltimore at home, and they lost 2 out of 3 games to Baltimore when they saw them at home. And then at the end of the first half of the season, right before the All-Star break, the Yankees finally won a series against Baltimore 2-1, and that series was that was on the road. So they won that one 2-1. And in the second half of the season, so you look at how the Yankees did, first 2 series against the Orioles in the first half of this season, they lost 2 out of 3 series, and the series that they won was on the road to finish the first half of the season, like I just said. And then you go into how did they do in the second half of the season against Baltimore. They only played them in 1 series, and they lost that series at home. So they have not beaten the Orioles at home in Yankee Stadium in any of their series this season. And they're going to be playing at home to start off the ALDS. So, that question becomes, okay, what are our thoughts on that situation that they have not won a series against the Orioles? Now, the Arizona Diamondbacks proved last season that doesn't matter. How you did against the Dodgers, they had some good moments, they had some rough moments, but when push came to shove, they beat them in the postseason. So Jerry said, excellent segment, Daniel, every minute of it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And then he said, Red October, go Phillies, from Jerry, because that Jerry's a big old Philadelphia Phillies fan. Well, we'll get to Philadelphia. We'll get to the Phillies in a second, but I do want to make a note here about the Yankees. So the Yankees could be playing the Orioles in the divisional series if things stay the way that they are and the Yankees stay the number 1 overall seed. They could face Baltimore again, and that's going to start off in the Bronx. Obviously, the series is going to be in both places. They're going to have to go to Baltimore, but the only series that they won against Baltimore this season was in Baltimore. Having played 2 series at home against the Orioles and not won either one of them, question becomes, can the Yankees do it in the Bronx, and can they take care of business? On the other side with the Orioles, like I said, they won that series in the first half of the season against the Orioles 3-1. They just played them recently in September, the 9th to the 11th, and they beat them 2-1 in that series, and that was at home in the Bronx for the Yankees. So it looks like, based on regular season, that it would be better for the Yankees to be in a series with the Royals than it would for them to have to be in a situation where they have to face the Orioles again. So I don't know if Yankee fans really want to face the Orioles. Maybe they want to face them in the sense of, like, let's take care of avenging the regular season and a time that matters most, which is here in the postseason, to try and win another title, or, if you'd rather play Kansas City because you had a better series against them overall this season. Looking at the Cleveland Guardians, they're currently the 2, which means that they would play Houston or they would play Detroit. Now, the Cleveland Guardians, to round out their season, the Guardians are going to have to play up again. They're going to have to play the Astros. So, these are obviously really meaningful games, but the question becomes, how much do you want to show? And what do you want to do to be smart in your pitching rotation, knowing that you now have to play the Houston Astros in Cleveland for a 3-game series, and then you could be facing the Astros again. And obviously, Cleveland is going to be through the wild card round, but in the scenario that they're in right now, the Cleveland Guardians play Houston, and then if Houston beats Detroit, they play Houston again. So you got to be really smart about it, but obviously Cleveland is going to have some time here, and with them being ahead of the Houston Astros, they're going to be on to the next, because even if the Astros won this, the best they can have is 89 wins. The Guardians already have 92. So the Astros aren't going to oust the Guardians from being at least the 2nd seed in the American League. So, the series is important, but the good thing about it is if the Guardians have to face the Astros after they face them for the next 3 days, if they have to face them again in the divisional round, they don't have to do it right away. They get to sit, they get to rest, they get to look at the rotation. So, it's not going to hurt them it's not going to hurt them in their pitching rotation, depending on who they use against Houston, because they have that wild card round in between. But it can hurt them if they lose to Houston, if they're trying to get to the number 1 seed over the Yankees, because they still can mathematically do that. The Yankees have 93 wins, the Guardians have 92. So if they were to flip, then the Guardians would play the Orioles or the Royals as it stands right now, and the Yankees would have to play the Astros or the Detroit Tigers. So how have the Guardians done this season against the teams that they could be playing? Well, taking a look at this right now and how the season went, they beat Detroit in the second half of the season. They beat them on the road in a short 2-game series, 2-0. They beat Detroit at home, they split with Detroit 2-2 as well for the Cleveland Guardians. As far as seeing the Astros, they did not see the Astros in the second half of the season, besides what's about to happen from this Friday to Sunday. And then in the first half of the season, looking at how the Cleveland Guardians fared against these teams, they beat Detroit 2-1 at home. And then they went on the road against Detroit, lost 1-3, and they haven't faced the Astros in the first half of the season. So this is the first time they're seeing the Astros this season. So the irony of this is the first time in 2024 that the Guardians are playing the Astros, and then the Guardians could end up playing the Astros again for a second time this season in the divisional round. So with Detroit, they've done a pretty good job outside of struggling for a series that they had there, but we'll see if that stays the way that it is. On the other side of it, the Philadelphia Phillies, let's look at where they are and where the Dodgers are currently right now. Now, the Dodgers have taken care of the fact that they have now officially won the division. San Diego came in a head-to-head series with the opportunity to potentially oust the Dodgers. They hold the overall head-to-head record. The Padres were 1-1 in this series before losing in Game 3 yesterday. And if you look at where things stacked up, the Dodgers went into yesterday's game 4-7 against the Padres this season. So now they're 5-7 against the Padres. So if the records were closer here, because it's a 4-game differential, the Dodgers are 95 wins, the Padres are 91. If there was more than 4 games to be played, the Padres could still oust the Dodgers, because head-to-head they have a better record against them of 7-5. Even though the Dodgers won yesterday, they were still behind a couple games to the San Diego Padres for the season. but winning yesterday gave them enough separation. There's only 3 games to go. There's no way that San Diego can make up being down by 4 wins with 3 games to go, obviously mathematically. So the Dodgers are going to stay where they are. Now, the Phillies can still catch up with the Dodgers, though. The Dodgers are 95-64. The Phillies are 94-65. So Philly can still be the 1 seed, and the Dodgers could still end up being the 2 seed. And we look at the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 91-68. So if I look at the Brewers and the Phillies in their head-to-head place to see if there's any way that this could shift, let's take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Milwaukee this season against the Phillies in the first half of the season at Philadelphia, they lost all 3 games. And in the second half of the season, so that doesn't bode well for Milwaukee. So they lost all 3 games to Philadelphia on the road in the first half of 2024. In the second half, they, let's see here, went up against the Phillies and won 2-1 at home, which means that they have a record of 2-4 against Philadelphia. So there's no way that they can catch up with them in that respect, because even if Milwaukee won their upcoming 3-game series and they had the same record as Philadelphia, Philadelphia holds the tiebreaker. So Philly and the Dodgers are going to be 1 or 2. But they could still decide who gets 1 and who gets 2. If it started today, the Dodgers would be the 1 seed, and they would play the winner of the 4-5, which is right now the San Diego Padres or the New York Mets, 4 and 5 respectively. I don't think the Dodgers want to play the Padres again, but we shall see. If the Phillies stay at 2, they will play the winner of the 3-6, which is currently Milwaukee and Arizona. Milwaukee and Arizona played last year to start off the wild card round in 2023 en route to the Arizona Diamondbacks, playing the Dodgers and then playing the Phillies. So we'll see how this kind of shakes out, but the Dodgers could stay the 1 or they could be the 2. If Philadelphia moves into the number 1 seed, then they would play right now San Diego or New York. And if Philadelphia was going to play San Diego or New York, and speaking of the Mets, let's take a look at what the Philadelphia Phillies have done this season, and we're going to go the first half of the season. So, Philadelphia Phillies against the Padres or the Mets. Let's see how they shook out here. So, in their series against the Mets, their first series against the Mets this season, they played 2 on the road, 2 on the road, 2 at home, and they won that 3-1. So they were 3-1 this season to start off play against the Mets. Speaking of the Phillies, and then they played them in a 2-game series where they split 1-1. Against San Diego, they won 2-1 in the first half of the season. And then we look at the second half of the season. So they started off good against the Padres. They started off good against the Mets. And then the Philadelphia Phillies in the second half of the season, when they saw the Mets again, they won 2-1 at home. On the road, they lost 1-3, and they have not seen the San Diego Padres since. So if Philadelphia was able to get to the 1 seed and flip with the Dodgers, then they could play San Diego, which could bode better for them. So we should see what's going to happen there in that respect. If Philadelphia is able to get the 1 seed over the Dodgers, then they would have to face the Mets again, and having some struggles with them on the road, taking care of home. But then, and most recently, the Mets had success against the Philadelphia Phillies. So if Philly flipped to the 1 and the 4-5 stays the same, I would imagine they want to play San Diego, but San Diego is also hot. So if the Dodgers were to go to the 2 seed, then they would have to play the Brewers and they would have to play the Diamondbacks. Well, they have the tiebreaker over the Diamondbacks. And as far as the Brewers go, for the Los Angeles Dodgers, let's take a look at LA. So the Dodgers this season up against the Milwaukee Brewers in the first half of the season against I told you the Diamondbacks, they own the tiebreaker over them. But if we look at the Dodgers going up against the Diamondbacks on the road, They won 2-1 the first series of this season. Then they played them again at home and lost 1-2. They did, and then they played the Diamondbacks again at home and lost 1-2. Then they played the Brewers right after they played the Diamondbacks, won 2-1. That was at home. And then if you look at the Dodgers' schedule for the second half of the season, they went up against the Brewers on the road in a 4-game series and split 2-2 against the Brewers. And with the Diamondbacks on the road, they won 3 out of 4 games. Then they faced off, and then that was it. So, I mean, do you want to see Arizona again if you're the Dodgers? Probably not. The Brewers, you split most recently, so not too shabby. But we'll see, because I would imagine that the Dodgers would rather look at playing the Diamondback Brewer than playing the San Diego World again, and that Philadelphia probably wants to stay away from the Mets. So the Dodgers playing the Brewers Diamondbacks champion seems that maybe that would be better for them than to have to potentially see San Diego if they beat the Mets. And then Philadelphia, I mean, they would be hoping that San Diego wins so that they don't have to face off against the Mets again. So we shall see how it all shakes out, but it will be decided within these next few games the way that things sit right now. As I said, the Yankees could be the 1 seed, could be the 2 seed, but them and the Guardians, no matter what, will automatically be on to the divisional round in the American League. The Astros have won their division. The Baltimore Orioles have clinched their place in the postseason. The Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals are both, if it were to end today, they're going to be in. The Kansas City Royals as a 5, the Tigers as the 6 seed, as they currently have the same record. Kansas City above Detroit, and the Minnesota Twins are all but out of it here if either one of these teams win. I mean, if you look at, Detroit and Kansas City, let's look at what they have going on now. So the final series for Detroit is going to bring them to Tampa Bay, to Chicago to play up against the White Sox at home. So not to Chicago. Kansas City is going to be hosting the Chicago White Sox to end the season. And so that looks like they should be able to take care of that. Speaking of Detroit, or I said Kansas City, my fault. The Detroit Tigers are hosting the Chicago White Sox. The Kansas City Royals are ending their season on the road in Atlanta. And then keep in mind, Atlanta has to play a doubleheader after that because they have to make up games against the Mets. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens in that respect. But as of right now, they have made it in. And Minnesota is hanging by a thread, kind of, sort of. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies, they'll figure out who's going to be the 1 and 2 seed. Nobody can catch them, so they will both be on to the NL divisional round. The Brewers have won their division, and the San Diego Padres are in. Right now, the Mets are 5, and the Mets and Diamondbacks are right there with each other. And the Diamondbacks could still move up, the Mets can still move down, and the Braves could still get in as they're 1 game behind the final spot. So how the Braves do in their series against Kansas City at home is going to be huge, and it could come down to the doubleheader on Monday in the afternoon between the Mets and the Braves for who gets in and what happens with the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks just have to win. Unfortunately, they have to play San Diego. Fortunately, it's at home. So still things left to be decided with a weekend of baseball plus Monday to go, and that makes it all the more exciting here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. I want to thank you for tuning in to the show, and YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT, is where you can watch and listen Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can also listen on worldwide internet streaming radio on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We typically go over. We did that again today. And, of course, you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure that you do that. Once you do that, subscribe and follow so that you could stay on these channels. And when you get in your car and your CarPlay turns on, you can listen to us from wherever you are, like we're there on your local radio, which is really awesome technology. And I thank God for all these opportunities, and I thank these companies for the opportunity as well. You search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and hang out with us there. Big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Servomation, reinvigorating and reimagining, redefining what it means to have vending in your schools, in your businesses, in your rest stops. Servomation is truly different. Their massive kitchen, the technology that they have, the food varieties that they have, and the quality of the food. Find out more at servomation.com. Big time thanks to Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, and having my own sandwich there 7 days a week. The Cuse Mac Mother, which is bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. And, of course, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. daily. You can go and enjoy it, especially on game day. So I look forward to you going over there and having it. Shout out to Dan Villari and his family, the tight end there on Syracuse's 2024-25 roster. Shout out to Dan Villari and the Villari family for going over the Mother's Cupboard. And, of course, many thanks to Carvel DeWitt for having my Sunday, which is a connection to the LeMoyne Dolphins that are right down the road. What school can bring you on a recruiting visit and then go get their own Sunday down the street at Carvel and the quality of Carvel ice cream? I know LeMoyne can. The DT Dolphin, mint chocolate chip, green colored ice cream, obviously, for the Dolphins, topped off with hot fudge, whipped cream, and a cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream, available to you all throughout the week, all throughout the year, no matter what the season is. Head over to Carvel DeWitt, exclusively for the DT Dolphin, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Many thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Bryan's Landing, and as you can see on your screen, there's an opening between Canine Campground and Bryan's Landing. That opening will be filled on October 1st in our big time announcement happening at 9 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Wake Up Call. The Moyne College Dolphins are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins every single Wednesday during Dolphin time and beyond that, like today, under promise and over deliver. So the Dolphins here with us, you can find them on our YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the LeMoyne Dolphins playlist. You can also find them on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. And as always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every single month here on Wake Up Call in what we call the Bobcat Buzz, a spotlight on the Bobcats that you will only find here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. They have 2 campuses, one up the road from downtown Syracuse on James Street in Syracuse, New York, and the other right off of Route 57 in Liverpool, across the street from Avicoli's, so you know you'll be eating good right there at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Find your Bobcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You can also find the Bobcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single month and every single week during Bearcat Time. Bearcat Time coming to you on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You can find the Bearcat student athletes, coaches, and administration. We have Moments with Marshall featuring Gene Marshall, the athletics director of Binghamton University, as well as coaches, student athletes, and administrative members of the Binghamton University Bearcats in what we call the Bearcat Break Room. All of our content is available by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell and find the Binghamton playlist. You can also find your Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. Do want to let you know really quick here, our polls have finished up. Will the Arizona Diamondbacks make the 2024 MLB playoffs? 81.8% of you said yes. 18.2% of you said no. In the Braves poll, will the Braves make the 2024 playoffs? 85.7% said yes. 14.3% said no. And will the New York Mets make the 2024 playoffs? 50% said yes, and 50% said no. We shall see as the Braves, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks are alive. Seeding can change, teams can change on who gets in, and these last 4 games, or these last 4 days, I should say, are going to be huge for the New York Mets, the Atlanta Braves, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and who will find those 2 spots in the wild card of the National League. We still know that the Yankees and the Guardians are going to decide who's 1 and who's 2, but they're both going to be in the top 2, and the Dodgers and the Phillies will decide 1 and 2 in the National League, and they are both automatically going to be in the divisional round no matter what. Now it's just who's 1 and who is 2. I hope you have a wonderful day. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Thanks to Carvel for the annoying moment of the week. Thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and delivers, focusing on their opinions of you don't matter. And of course, you can also see our newest addition to our series, The Light Between Us, with Chick-fil-A Cicero team members featuring Tanitha Anasthez by going to youtube.com or facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. So check out the story of Tanitha Anasthez of Chick-fil-A Cicero in our very positive, faith-based segment, The Light Between Us. Top dogs of the week. Shout out to LeMoyne's Gold Wave. They were all our top dogs of the week, presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And that being Tom Bonus, the longtime head coach of LeMoyne men's soccer, Erica Geremia, the women's lacrosse student athlete at LeMoyne, and the 1981 LeMoyne baseball team. Thanks to Dick Rockwell for joining me. Thank you for Erica for your time, Tom for your time as well. I look forward to talking with you all soon. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Go check out the pregame Tortora and Alfred that we aired last night, and we'll see you at the Dome, God willing.